Okay, what I want to talk about now is the power and value of Cornell Notes. Now, I do Cornell Notes differently than a lot of people because I use a technique called sketchy Cornell Notes, and I use a lot of color. But let's look at an example of what I considered success. I have my notebook here that I used to take and prepare for the Dreamweaver 2015 test, CC 2015 test. What happened was I took the Illustrator test, and when I took the Illustrator test earlier in this last summer, I barely passed. I just got a 700 on it. So I got serious and I said I need to do something different. And the old saying goes, trust the process. And so what I did was I wrote down in the practice testing mode all of the questions that I got wrong. And if you see as I do the notes, I use a lot of color. I create an icon for what it is I'm working on. In this case it was Dreamweaver. I've done the same for AutoCAD. As you can see, I'll show you later some examples of that. But I always create little different icons. I use a lot of color because it makes it pop to me. And this right here I actually used a couple stamps. And as I got doing my notes more and more and more, I could see the value of Cornell Notes. And again, what is the value of Cornell Notes? Well, in this case right here, it keeps me from studying things over and over again that I already know. And what I'll do is I'll fold the page over to this line, and then I'll ask myself one of these questions and I'll write it down. Sometimes I get it pretty quick, sometimes it takes longer. Here's an example where I had to really write down a lot of information and really highlight the do's and don'ts to answer this one question about the document object module model inside of Dreamweaver. And then I would write down the notes and test myself, and then I'd come back and erase it. But as you see going through the process, I'm taking quite a bit of notes because these are questions I got wrong, and I had to make sure I knew them correctly. Then I started testing myself. Here's an example where I got a 925, thought I was pretty good, which it was pretty good. But then I took the test again, and my score started going down. I got an 833, and I commented to that effect I was not happy. And then again, I did a little bit better, but I'm still not happy, and my test hadn't gone up. But I kept doing this process. I kept working this process and testing and retesting myself. And then my fourth test, which was not very good, I got an 800, which I was very upset about, but I still wrote it down, and I kept going through the process. But things started to change. And as they started to change, my scores went up. I wrote down my scores. When you get 1,000, that's a perfect score. But again, this process does work. And we have to trust this process to be successful in passing the Adobe as well as AutoCAD industry certification tests. Now, what I want to talk about is how do I improve this process of taking these kind of notes? Well, I like using stamps, and I want to make it even go faster. If you notice on my website for the AutoCAD notes, I use a lot of stamps. Well, here's some examples of stamps I've made that help me improve the process. Like I have a star stamp that I use that highlights a lot of stuff. And we're going to make our own custom stamps for creating better Cornell Notes and faster. So if I'll take this Route 66 sign here, this stamp, I'll put it on the page, and there it is. So it makes my note-taking stand out. Same here with this nice 5-point star. Okay? And then I like to use color. Color is a very powerful means by which to take better notes. In this case here, I'm going to use a peace sign that I made. Any kind of icon or graphic or emoji, things that I like to make, I'll put it on there. I made a larger sign. For something that's key, I designed a skeleton key, as you can see there. Also, I do it with my name. As you can see here, there's my name, the way I sign my paintings. And then I'll come back and do things like check things off that I've got correctly. So I'll put a check mark on it. Or an exclamation point to say something is cool and neat. So I'll put that in there. But as you can see, it personalizes our notes and makes our notes more valuable. And not only with Cornell Notes are we going to talk about doing this, but we're going to show you how to actually make this using AutoCAD and a laser engraver and actual rubber that's used for making these stamps.